silly season is upon us, and as the year comes to an end, fraudsters take advantage of the fact that consumers now will receive their bonuses, they would spend more money and are generally more relaxed because they are in that holiday mode. The South African Banking Risk Information Centre, SABRIC, wants to ensure that bank clients are empowered with information in order to protect themselves. Earlier today, SABRIC launched its festive season awareness campaign, and we have now in studio the acting CEO, Susan Potgieter. Thank you so much for coming through.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
Now, as I said, that silly season is here, and we obviously need to look at ways to protect our money as consumers. So, firstly, let's just reflect on the tactics that criminals and fraudsters use during this period.
Right, we're finding when it comes to schemes and scams, they really are exploiting people, and they're using social engineering tactics, posing to be banks and posing to be legitimate traders and so forth, and then of course tricking the unassuming victim into into disclosing other information or transacting to their own detriment. So it's not that these scams are particularly new. It's just that because we are spending more over Christmas, there's more opportunity for criminals to actually do these things. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So SABRIC says that we should be very careful with our confidential information. Let's just remind our viewers what that confidential information is.
I think it's important to differentiate between personal information, and we must be careful with our personal information. But when it comes to confidential information, we must never ever share our confidential information. Just to clarify that, your ID number, your address, your telephone number, that's all personal information. In order to do transactions, you sometimes have to disclose that. But be very fussy and particular to whom you disclose it, and also ask, what are you going to do with my information? Because as a consumer, you're entitled to be sure that your information is going to be safeguarded. When it comes to confidential information, you are the only person who should be using it or should have it in the first place. So that would be your PIN number, your password, and the likes, and you never share that with anybody, even if they purport to be the bank. The bank will never ask you to disclose that information.
Yeah, because I think with some banks, they now and then they send SMSs to their clients to say, we will never ask you for your personal and confidential information on the phone or perhaps via SMSs or emails.
Yes.
So the banks as well are also playing their part in ensuring that our information as consumers is safe.
Absolutely, and we must be careful not to overshare. Social media platforms are great, but there's no need to overshare. And we're finding that criminals, just like we use those platforms to communicate and to stay in touch with family and friends, criminals are also accessing those platforms, and they literally use those platforms to gather information about us.
Now, ATMs. A lot of people have been experiencing problems with their ATMs. Their ATM cards bank cards would be swallowed by ATMs, and a whole lot of things are happening. What are the common traps that the consumers should be on the lookout for whilst using ATMs?
Firstly, I'd like to say don't carry unnecessary cash. I love using the ATM, especially when I go to the beach, because you can't always buy refreshments at the beach with your card. So it's great to have the ATMs all over the show, but don't draw thousands and thousands of rand. Rather do multiple transactions. When you use the ATM, don't be distracted by people loitering in the vicinity or offering to help you. If you are confused or you don't quite know whether the ATM is working as it should be, rather move away and go to another ATM. If you believe that your card has been swallowed, the chances are very good that it wasn't, that it was actually trapped. Stand at that ATM and call your bank's call center to stop your card using your own contact details. So I'd like to encourage every viewer to make sure that you have your bank's contact numbers on your phone. Because how are you going to call if you don't have the information handy? Sometimes criminals try and even help you to call. Don't ever accept the assistance to use somebody else's phone, because you might actually be speaking to another criminal. So make your call yourself and don't move away until the card is stopped.
All right, I'm just going to quickly going to ask you to hold the thought right there, because we need to go to Brazil now, where President Cyril Ramaphosa